when Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. He wasn't writing for monks in caves. He was writing for people like us, people surrounded by noise, chaos, and constant demands. Have you ever felt like the world is screaming at you while your mind begs for silence? Maybe it's coworkers gossiping, family members arguing, or just the endless buzzing of society trying to pull you in 1,000 directions. You want peace, but all you get is noise. Before we dive in, take a second to support this channel by liking and subscribing. It keeps this Stoic journey alive and helps us all build a calmer, stronger way of living. Now, let's talk about how to stay calm when everyone around you is loud and lost. Number 1, the noise is not yours. The first truth you must remember is this: the noise around you does not belong to you. The shouting, the complaining, the endless chatter, it's the projection of other people's minds, not yours. When a storm rages outside, you don't blame yourself for the thunder. You simply close the window. In the same way, you are not responsible for the chaos others create. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control external events, only our response. This means the constant noise doesn't need to live rent-free in your head. If someone is yelling, gossiping, or panicking, that's their storm, not yours. Don't go running into it. Stay where the ground is steady. Think about it. How often have you gotten angry simply because someone else was angry? It's like catching a cold you didn't need to catch. Their noise becomes your disease. But what if you let their chaos pass by like a loud car on the street? Yes, it's irritating, but it's gone in seconds. Humor helps here too. Imagine every loud, chaotic person as a radio stuck between channels. You wouldn't take a broken radio personally. You just turn the volume down, or at least move to a quieter room. Number 2, guard your inner fortress. Stoics often describe the mind as a fortress. The outside world can throw stones, shout insults, or cause disturbances, but the walls of your inner castle are yours to defend. If you let every sound climb over your walls, you lose control of your own kingdom. When everyone around you is loud, your first duty is not to quiet them. It's to guard your own calm. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a state you cultivate inside. If you expect the world to go quiet before you find peace, you'll be waiting forever. True calm begins when you learn to carry silence within you. This means practicing small moments of detachment. In the middle of noise, pause and remind yourself, this is not me. This is not mine. That simple line is like locking the gates to your fortress. You are reminding yourself that your calm belongs to you alone. And sometimes, defending your fortress looks like walking away. Don't be afraid to excuse yourself from environments that constantly drain you. Even Marcus Aurelius had to retreat from the Roman Senate to write in his journal. If the emperor could take break from noise, so can you. Number 3, train your response, not the world. One of the most frustrating things about dealing with loud and lost people is the urge to fix them. You think, if only they'd be quiet, if only they'd calm down. But here's the truth. You cannot rewire the world. The only thing you can rewire is yourself. Every time chaos knocks at your door, you're being tested. The Stoics called it training ground. That person yelling in traffic? Training ground. That co-worker complaining for the 10th time today? Training ground. These aren't just annoyances. They're opportunities to sharpen your control, to practice patience, and to strengthen your calm. Think of it like going to the gym. If the weights were easy, you wouldn't grow stronger. The same goes for life. Without external noise, you wouldn't have a chance to grow inner silence. The loud world is actually your workout equipment. It's heavy, it's uncomfortable, but it's building you into something unshakable. And here's some humor for you. When the world is loud, imagine you're in a reality show called Who Wants to Disturb Me Today? And you're the undefeated champion who never loses his cool. That's the game. Stay undefeated. Number 4, shift the focus inward. When chaos surrounds you, your instinct is to look outward. You focus on the noise, the people, the distractions. But the Stoic practice is to shift the lens inward. Ask yourself, why am I disturbed? Why do I let this noise control me? Often it's not the sound itself, but the meaning you attach to it that steals your calm. A philosopher sitting in a crowded marketplace can still feel silence because he has trained his attention. Meanwhile, a restless person in a quiet room will still feel noise because their mind is loud. The difference is not outside, it's inside. This is where practices like mindful breathing, journaling, or simply pausing to observe your thoughts come in. These tools pull your focus back to where your true control lies, within. When you turn your attention inward, the outside noise fades into the background like static on a radio. Humorously put, you're basically the DJ of your own mind. You get to choose which track plays. Are you going to keep replaying the world's noise on loop, or are you going to switch to the track called Inner Peace? Extended Edition? Number 5. Build calm into your daily life. The final step is not just surviving noisy moments, but building a foundation of calm so deep that no storm can easily shake you. Calm is not something you switch on in emergencies. It's something you cultivate daily. This means creating quiet rituals. Wake up early and sit in silence before the world starts shouting. Take walks without your phone. Write your thoughts down before they crowd your head. These small acts of silence are like deposits into your calmness bank account. When chaos comes, you'll have reserves to draw from. It also means practicing discipline with what you allow into your life. If you constantly consume noise, gossip, negative news, endless scrolling, don't be surprised if your mind feels loud even when the room is quiet. Curate your inputs the way a Stoic curates his thoughts. Choose peace on purpose. And remember, calm does not mean passive. It means strong. The calmest person in the room is often the most powerful because while others are burning energy and noise, you are conserving strength. The loud and lost may seem overwhelming, but in time, they will look to you for direction. So let the world be loud. Let people be lost. Your task is not to fix them, but to remain unshaken. And maybe smile, because being calm in chaos is a kind of quiet rebellion. Number 6, choose your role in the chaos. Every chaotic situation casts roles for us to play. Some become the loud ones, some the panicked ones, and some the silent observers. The Stoic chooses to be the observer, not because they are weak, but because they understand the futility of adding fuel to fire. If everyone in the room is yelling, what changes if you yell too? Nothing. The volume only doubles and reason disappears. But if you remain calm, your silence becomes louder than the shouting. It creates a contrast that others cannot ignore. Calmness in chaos becomes a form of quiet leadership. Remember Epictetus' advice. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you choose calm, you step out of the role the world wants you to play. You stop being part of the circus, and instead, you become the tent pole holding the chaos together. And here's a funny way to look at it. In every noisy situation, there's always that one person who looks unbothered, sipping water like nothing's happening. Be that person. Be the mysterious character everyone wonders about. Why is he so calm while the world is on fire? Number 7, silence as strength, not weakness. In our society, silence is often mistaken for weakness. People think if you don't argue, you don't care. If you don't shout, you don't matter. But Stoicism flips that idea upside down. Silence, when chosen, is one of the highest forms of strength. Anyone can shout. It takes no wisdom to raise your voice, but it takes mastery to remain calm and measured when provoked. That's why silence often wins arguments without speaking a word. It frustrates the loud because they realize their noise cannot reach you. Think of a martial artist. They don't throw every punch they can. They conserve their energy, wait, and strike only when necessary. In the same way, your silence is not passive. It's strategic. It's saying, I refuse to waste my energy on noise that has no value. For humor's sake, think of silence like the Wi-Fi password at a cafe. Everyone wants access, but you only share it with those who actually deserve it. Don't let everyone log into your calm. Number 8, master the pause. One of the most powerful tools you have is the pause. Before reacting to the noise around you, take a breath, count to 3, or simply stay still. This small act creates a gap between the noise and your response, and in that gap lies your freedom. The Stoics believe that between stimulus and response, we have a choice. But most people rush into reaction, turning noise into arguments, and arguments into regret. The pause is your shield. It buys you time to think, to evaluate, and to choose calmness instead of chaos. Practicing the pause is simple. Next time someone yells at you, don't immediately fire back. Breathe. Tilt your head slightly if you must, like you're studying a strange bird making noises. That pause not only protects your peace, but often disarms the other person. They expect fire, but you give them stillness. And here's the funny part. Pausing makes you look wise even if you're just deciding whether to respond or not. People will think you're considering something profound, when in reality, you might just be debating if it's worth it. Spoiler, it usually isn't. Number 9, redefine what's urgent. Part of why the noise around us affects us so deeply is because we believe everything is urgent. Someone yells, and we feel we must answer. Someone panics, and we feel we must fix it. But most noise is not urgent. It's just loud. The Stoics remind us to ask, will this matter tomorrow? A week from now? A year from now? Most of the chaos that steals our calm is forgotten within hours. Why give your peace away to something so temporary? Why trade long-term serenity for short-term noise? When you redefine urgency, you free yourself. Suddenly, the screaming coworker becomes less of a crisis and more of a background sound. The family drama becomes less of a battlefield and more of a passing storm. You realize that noise doesn't deserve immediate ownership of your mind. And humorously, think of it like junk email. Loud people are basically spammers. Not everything that shows up in your inbox deserves your urgent reply. Sometimes the best response is to just hit delete. Number 10, live as the calm example. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea of leading by example. When you remain calm in a world that is loud and lost, you don't just protect your own peace. You silently teach others how to do the same. Your calm becomes contagious. Think of Marcus Aurelius. He ruled an empire during plagues, wars, and political chaos. Yet he chose to lead with restraint and wisdom instead of anger. His calm became his greatest tool of influence. People followed him not because he shouted louder, but because he remained steady while others fell apart. In your daily life, the same principle applies. Your calm presence may inspire a coworker to lower their voice or a family member to reconsider their anger. People will eventually realize that noise doesn't bring respect, composure does. And respect is earned, not demanded. Here's a lighter way to see it. Being calm is like being the only person in the group who remembered to bring snacks. While everyone else is starving in their chaos, you're quietly sitting there unbothered with a sandwich. Eventually, they'll want what you have.